So there's some guy named Tommy Sotomayor. I didn't really know anything about him until I saw this video, but apparently the dude is a massive homophobe, and you'll see exactly why. Now this clip was percolating. I don't think that's the right word to use here. It was circulating on YouTube or on Twitter, actually, on social media, but mainly Twitter. And it was posted by a dude who's at his classical liberal. And the tweet got like 13,000 favorites. Even Dave Rubin responded to it, actually. But basically, he's going to go on the Rubin report. Dave Rubin's going to agree with him, and he's going to say like some dumb shit like, he says that basically, I accept that you want to be homeless, but I don't want my kid to be homeless, is like his example of that being some sort of like, oh, no, I'm accepting of someone else being gay. It's just that I don't want my kid to be gay. Which, like, what? How does that? And we'll get into that in a second here, but check out what ends up being the truth.
You can't even have a preference around a liberal. A liberal homosexual says, well, you should accept my lifestyle. But if you say, well, I accept your lifestyle, I just don't want my kid to be one. Well, you're a... Well, wait a minute. I accept the fact that you want to be homeless. I don't want my kid to be homeless. I accept the fact that you want to smoke crack. I don't want my kid to smoke crack.
What do we do from here? What do we do from here? Like, I think most people, I know a lot of my audience is going to hear you, really hear you, and go, this is the type of stuff that I think needs to be heard more. And I think that the group of people that are talking about this stuff is actually growing. I do see this. At the same time, the people who don't want to hear us are getting more and more hysterical because that's all they got left.
Even said they hate Dave Rubin because he's a gay man with the wrong opinion. Dave Rubin is gay? No! He got a husband? I did not know. I was in his presence. I didn't know. I shook his hand. I sat down with him. Why did y'all tell me before I went on his show? Oh, Steven, why would you send me this? Oh my God, Steven, you've ruined my day.
It's just got to feel like, how do you not feel like it's complete, like, piece of human garbage if you are Rave Dubin? Because you are somebody who essentially left, like, a super welcoming, embracing environment at TYT and the left in general, because they actually embraced and fought for your rights to actually be able to be, gay married, and then you ditched them when it was politically expedient to join a wing where Ben Shapiro won't come to your anniversary. He certainly won't get near baking your cake. He won't get near coming to your wedding. And he justifies that by saying, oh, no, I'm not just bigoted against gay people. I'm also bigoted against, virtually everyone. Because if one of my family members marries outside someone who's not a Jew, I'm not going to go to their weddings. Like, wow, you're a piece of garbage. But seriously, dude, and the thing about homophobia is there's so many different levels of homophobia. And I've, remember talking to someone, on a video game, and they said some shit like, oh, no, it's cool to be gay, but, keep that shit away from my kids or something. Which, like, what? What does that even mean? Like, imagine saying the reverse of that, right? Keep your straightness away from my kids. Like, what the fuck does that mean? It's not something you get to choose. There's nothing wrong with homosexuality, and in, situation we're in now, obviously it shouldn't be embraced because of the circumstances that, gay people face, even to this day. Because, as I said, there are multiple levels of homophobia, right? There's one which is it's straight up illegal to be gay married, right? The next level you're talking about people just in general having a sort of bigotry towards gay people, and then you've got, oh yeah, no, I'm cool with it, bro. Just don't do it. Just keep it away from my kids. If it's like some kind of disease or some shit, which is fucking ridiculous. And so this fuckhead, Tommy piece of shit, bitch face Sotomayor, is being a total homophobic douche. Not only that, but he's lying about it. So his argument is, well, yeah, I accept that you want to be gay, which is a lie, by the way. He doesn't accept that they want to be gay. That's a lie, as you guys just saw there. He says, but he tries to draw some like lineage between his kid being homeless or something like that, right? So when you're talking about unchangeable identities, right? So there's a key crucial difference between an identity and what is something that's actually changeable. So you can't change your homosexuality or your heterosexuality. Do you want to test that? If you're straight, try watching some gay porn. If you're turned on by it, you're probably gay. You probably weren't straight, But that's probably a pretty good way to test that theory. And obviously you cannot be changed because it's something you're born with. It's not a choice. We all know this by now, okay? Very obvious stuff here. So when you're talking about something that's a set in stone identity versus anything that's really a choice, but that's not to say that, the vast majority of things that are a choice, if you're going to, be unaccepting of that for your kid, when they grow up or whatever. Let's say, like, you have something against being a teacher or something like that, and you don't accept that your kid's wants to be a teacher, and you're like an asshole to him forever, or you hold some sort of a grudge or some sort of a bias against your kid for that. You're an asshole, and that's something that's not, an unchangeable identity. You could do something else, but it doesn't matter. You're still a dickhole for doing that, okay? So really the vast majority of even options that you can choose, you're pretty much a dickhole for doing, right? So obviously you're not going to let your kid, when he's a kid, be homeless because he's your child, obviously. It's your job to take care of him, and he doesn't have that choice to be homeless. He doesn't have that choice to run away from his family. He's not 18 yet. But like, let's say your kid, let's follow through with that thought experiment, right? Let's say your kid wants to be homeless, which is already a stupid example because who the fuck wants to be homeless, right? There are people who want to live in tiny houses for whatever reason. I guess they want like small maintenance or whatever. But there's obviously a big difference between that and being homeless. But I've never heard anyone who was like, you know what? I want to be homeless. I've never heard that my entire life. So we're already going down a dumb path because it's like, okay, does this even exist? And the answer is virtually no. Well, let's say there even was sort of situation like that. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to not accept that your kid wants to be homeless and you're going to like hold a grudge against him for doing that? I mean, he's already being dumb enough to put himself through the experience of being homeless voluntarily, in a situation where he doesn't have to be homeless and could not be homeless, he wants to be homeless. You're like, why would you do that? What are you going to do, like not accept that or hold a grudge against him for that or something like that? I don't really understand what his point is here. That doesn't make any sense. And when you're talking about not wanting your kid to actually be gay, that's extremely homophobic because it shouldn't matter what his sexuality is because that's something that's not by choice. It's something that is innate that someone is born with. And it's ridiculous to make a statement like that as if they're even in any way linear. But, when generally speaking, when you're grouping stuff like this, so I'll also tie in an example to this. I saw that Milo Yiannopoulos clip. It's a video from Kyle a long time ago that he made where Joe Rogan and Milo got into it over the issue of religion and basically saying that Milo Yiannopoulos was a self-hating gay person because he was someone who, he literally said that he would rather be straight than gay if he could because then he's better. And his argument was like, I love all of me, but I just want to be better. But the problem is, like, let's say you're like, I don't know, you are somebody who is unorganized and you want to better yourself by changing your habits. Or let's say you're someone who gets bad grades, but you want to start studying and doing whatever because you'll be better. Like, you're not loving yourself less or like hating yourself for that. The problem is when it comes to identity. So let's say you're black and you want to be white because you think that, that's something that is not, that is something that would make you better. Then you are self-hating because that's something that you're born with, you cannot change, and that is your identity. So you are indeed self-hating. So there's a difference between, wanting to lose weight or to change your grades or change your organization habits or whatever, go to the gym more often. There's a difference between that and things that are part of your identity and that you cannot change. Your race, your gender, your orientation, all these different things, right? So those are all things that are identities that are in that sort of area. So that is absolutely homophobia, and even to the extent that you were to argue that, oh no, he's not homophobic, he's making a clear argument. Well, it turns out he is homophobic. And I want to know how Dave Rubin sleeps at night. Now, I know he sleeps with his gay husband because he said it multiple times. He says it ad nauseum, right? That's why I'm surprised Tommy didn't know about that. But he sleeps with his gay husband in his bed every night to go to sleep. And he has to live with himself knowing that he boosts people like this. Bringing on someone like that on your show not only boosts homophobia, it advances homophobia. And it enables and, uplifts homophobia. And it's like, wow, you are a piece of human garbage, dude. you are such a piece of shit. And it's all for the fucking Benjamins, dude. You are a nasty, disgusting piece of garbage, dude. You decide to surround yourself with fucking pieces of shit like Tommy Sotomayor is a homophobic asshole to you, and people like Ben Shapiro who will not step foot near your anniversary, won't bake you a cake for your wedding, wouldn't eat, like if his wife brought him home, I bet you if his wife brought him home a cake from a gay wedding, he wouldn't eat it, right? Because that would probably, make him gay or whatever. But seriously, dude, those are the people you chose to align yourself with, rather than people who fought for your right to actually be able to marry legally and be gay. And people who embrace, and there's a difference between embracing and just like I hate the word tolerating for this, because like, what are you tolerating? Like the term tolerating implies that there's something that you're resisting an urge to dislike or whatever. It's not about tolerance, like at this point, obviously they should completely embrace it. And I want them to be embracing their sexual orientation due to the circumstances that they're in, obviously. So much homophobia existing, and the evidence is, in the pudding. You guys just saw it on the screen, right? The evidence of homophobia existing is right on your fucking screen. But it's like, when you use the term tolerance, it's as if something is, something that there's a urge that you have of disliking. It's like, no, it's just sexual orientation. They're not able to change, and your identity is just fine. Your sexual orientation is just fine, totally normal. That's your, not something you can change, and it's fine. It's normal, just like anything else. Just like wanting to, have pussy or whatever. Same thing, doesn't make any difference. So, that's the people that you decided to self-associate with, and I don't feel bad for you, but I kind of do pity you, because of how much of a tool you've become. And if this guy can't look in the mirror after this, because he did respond to this by saying, oh, I don't know why all the trolls are tishing. He always does that personal attack on people who are criticizing him because he can't respond. And he's a fucking dumbass. And he's like, oh, I know the trolls are tweeting this out, but really, this happened after he came on my show, and he's obviously a troll. Dumbass, own up to what the fuck you did, you fucking moron, and actually do something about it next time. You stupid ass motherfucker.